Hi, grandkids and their friends. It's time to do another watercolor painting. This is where I hiked last week, and we're going to paint this. We're going to level out the landscape a little bit here, leave the firs over here, and highlight some of the quaking aspens in front of the firs here. So this is what we have as an initial sketch with using our permanent ink pens, a number 2 and a number 8 here. And so what we're going to do first is get some of these trees here in the foreground using this watercolor crayon. This is beige, and just to save some time here, we're going to have these here. Occasionally trees will cross back here, and these will be our up and down here. Now these are aspens, so they have these lovely branches that come out. These down here, these beige, are the background aspens. And so what we're going to do then is where the aspens, so we're receding here into the distance along the trail, so I'm going to make those smaller there. So the aspen here have branches, and so I'll get the number 2 pen out, and where I have tops of some of these, I will put some branches coming out on top like so. We'll see how this works. Grandpa's been doing these at the request of some of his daughter-in-laws and grandkids since September 2021. All of this, including the recording, the painting per se, all of it's kind of new to Grandpa, and it's all a bunch of experiments. And so each time it's a different experiment as we go along. Today is no exception to that, so this is some of the experiments we are doing today. Maybe on a few of these I should just do a few lines to indicate that, yeah, these really are trees here that we're trying to get out here. And then we'll get out our brush. Grandpa likes to use these travel brushes with the watercolor crayons here. And one of the reasons that we need to put this in here is we're going to go in between these trees, and we'll put some background here. So we'll start over here. Hope you're well, hope you're doing good. Hope the world isn't too scary for us, for you. I pray all the time for peace and for health, for mental balance here in this kind of crazy world. These are our background aspens here. I'm just putting in instead of trying to micromanage them. We'll just touch that up, and then we'll come behind and put in a few more trees. So here's the fir trees here, aspens right here. Okay, so the next order of things is to get some of the background colors between the trees, and then around these in the foreground aspens here. So there is some snow up on this hillside intermingled with bare land, and I'm not sure how to get it, but I'm going to try this flame red and some moss green and leave some white there for the white part here. There's a flame red. Here's a Prussian blue, kind of the outline of the mountains. as it comes down the slopes here, and a little bit around where the edge of the snowfields are here, and down here, and then some moss green. So I'm hoping the moss green has a good time while it mingles with the flame red and gives that kind of earthy color to it. Yeah, it's not clear why I'm doing that quite yet, but maybe we ought to make it clearer. What I'm thinking of here is we're going to have some of this come down between our trees right here, and that's why I'm making so let's leave space there for a tree right in there, but we'll have kind of sort of our mossy green, the earth here, and along with our flame red here. Yeah, let's leave space for a couple of background fir trees there. So I'm trying to do that sort of between the things I've already put in there. Grandpa has neuropathy, peripheral neuropathy, and so this kind of art is not just fun, very portable. I don't use much water when I do it, but it's also, I can handle the crayons here and do, so we've got that, and what I want to do is kind of lighten that up here. Yeah, that's kind of the idea I had in mind. And then I'm trying to bring that color in between these trees that I've done with these vertical lines there. Okay. I don't think I had enough mossy green right in there, so let's do that right now. Watercolor crayons is kind of a fun medium. Again, very portable. Take it anywhere. Take it frequently with me on the mountains and paint up there. Okay, so yeah, that's okay. Sort of what we expected up there. Sort of along here. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to put color these trees here and here and add a few more between our ones back there. And yeah, you can see I'm drawing in this tree and I'm being careful, kind of careful as Grandpa can be with his shaky hands, not to cross over in front of my aspen here, across the trunks, and now put a little bit of blue in the bottom. Then this aspen here on the far right, we're going to work the same way. We put where it's exposed to light, we put the light green, and now we're putting, as we come down the tree on the undersides, near the center of the fir tree, we're putting darker green. So let me just outline, here's my tree. Remember, Grandpa, don't cross into the tree if you can help it, kind of a thing. And I am coloring in the same way I would draw, same kind of shapes I would draw, because I'm always planning in everything, but sometimes the sky and sometimes the water, to leave some pigment behind, and so purposely I'm leaving these shapes here for the same. Now that I've put some color there, just want to be careful to come along our trees here and highlight the aspen in the foreground so I don't accidentally get more color there than I need to, which I always do, but that's okay. These are impressionistic drawings, and so when I bring the water over here to the right side, here I'm dabbing. I don't want to mix all these colors together. Now let me bring this down here on the left side so that stays distinguished and separate like so. Okay. Now, next what we're going to do is we're going to do a few trees in the aspen field of trees that are right there again, daubing throughout. And rather than mixing the colors here and there a little bit, but not all of them everywhere. And if I did that, it'll be a big grayish mess. Come back here. We got around the tree trunk. Now we want to go back and frequently clean my brush of color. Come back here, activate the pigment that we put down on the painting here. Dab it in place. And like all kind of watercolors, it's kind of magic. Okay. Okay, you can see there Grandpa's gone ahead and trying between some of these tree trunks to put in the background fir tree that lies behind these aspens here. And again, all of Grandpa's paintings are kind of impressionist paintings. So I'm trying to get the impression here of trees. So I have these three more trees that are partly obstructed by these aspens in the foreground. Adding to our picture. Next, we're going to get the background mountain. So I'm going to use, in the far background, I'm going to use very light strokes from this night blue. In the middle and the foreground, I'm going to use some of this Prussian blue with some purple, so variety here. Mountains are very interesting and kind of, I think, easy to do with watercolor crayons. Doing it, trying to get it done through the trees makes it a little bit more interesting. On the north side, often east side facing slopes, often more timber, and on the other slopes there's more snow showing, so we're going to try and get that. We'll have, those be our kind of trees there and coming down here, and in fact in the picture they're all kind of cooperating and coming down like that. And then where we have it coming off and dividing into sections, we'll have, of course, some of that coming down, showing between our aspens here. And so we'll put a little bit of marks here and there to indicate that's what's showing. And now Grandpa will, before he forgets, try and put those in. While we're doing that, let's put a little bit over on this side, coming down to, again, if Grandpa sharpened his crayons or had newer crayons, it'd be a little bit easier to do this. but Grandpa loves his crayons, and so better to do dumb paintings than to lose all my crayons, right? Hopefully, but it's fun doing this. It's fun to experiment. I hope that in your art and in your lives, you can pick good experiments to work on as well. So we're coming up here along the ridge. And again, if Grandpa's hands weren't shaking quite so much, it would probably have a different effect than it does. There's a snowfield right there. And then here's where this mountain, slope of this mountain meets the other one here. So we're going to change to a darker Prussian blue as we go over here and work on this mountain here. Okay. Yeah, I was looking at the picture. It looks a little more like that. So there's some mountain there. So as we come in closer, we get a little bit. Okay, I've got a little of that purple over there. I'm going to put a little bit of our Prussian blue here. These lines here are meant to be trees as we see them in here. And I think what I'm going to do is do a little bit thicker pigment here, as if there's a gully on the top there, which is what it looks like in the picture here. And we're coming down here. Just up and down marks is what I'm aiming for. And comes down here into sets of snowfields that are flowing down here on either side. So again, I'm trying to do this right now, so I remember not to run across the trunks of our aspen here. So let's activate this a little bit here. So here we have trees coming down, trying to dab in the same way that we drew it. I don't want this to overpower the picture, but these mountains are particularly beautiful and colorful, and I want to get that. So, Grandpa is just doing this recently and as a kind of hobby, and so he's still figuring all this out. But I think that's what we do in life, right? Is we keep working at stuff until we die, or we get our style down and use it for good as best we can. Okay, well, that was interesting. Why did you do that? I was thinking of the snowfields right here. Maybe not pure white, but a little colorful, and so I was trying for that effect. Yeah, I'm okay with that. For the rocks in the foreground, I've used this ruby red, this ochre on the top, and this Prussian blue here. The intention is that the red and the blues will kind of mix to get a darker, kind of vibrant grayish tone here. And I'm not sure exactly how that will work out, but seems to be okay so far. We'll have to see what happens on the colors. Again, when I'm doing these like rocks and trees and stuff, I am not trying to mix up all the colors. I'm leaving all the pigments here. I'm letting some mix, but some represent the structure of, in this case, the rocks. So next thing is to get out some kind of dark red, maybe a crimson, and come along and get the bushes in front of the trees here, and then the shadows, and then I think we'll be done. Won't that be fun? So I looked at the picture again for a while, and it really does look kind of reddish in the picture at the bottom of these little bushes that are here by our plants. But then above that, it looks kind of like a dark yellow, like almost an ochre color, and so that's what I just got out, this crimson and ochre colors, and I am going to combine those here and make the stuff smaller as it goes further away, and kind of make these ground bushes larger when they're nearby. Get up our brush here, wipe it off, and then finally I think put in some blue. Prussian blue has been a good friend of ours during this whole painting, so let me just do that for shadows here and our footprints, and for our trees. Okay, these are, so we'll have the sun coming in from the left, coming down here, and on these grasses here, and on the tree coming out, these trees coming out here, and maybe even over that boulder and a little bit up here. Over this boulder, and a little bit coming up here. Then Grandpa, he almost forgot to put in shadows for those rocks there. What are you thinking about, Grandpa? I don't know. It's the problem with grandpas. Sometimes they don't think as clearly as grandmas do, or certainly not as your mothers do. And maybe there's a little bit of a snowdrift in front. I'll just do the faintest little blue here. And why don't we start working on that faint drift and then get the darker shadows. Now here, I think I do want the pigment to kind of dissolve mostly. It's not like it's a bunch of little spiders leaving their steps there. It's more like differential shadows here as the snow kind of got packed there and here. Okay, and I'll come over here and get these other shadows here coming out from these trees, from this rock over the top here. And from this rock, those bushes, this tree, this rock coming out here, and this aspen here, and right in here a bunch of, okay, finally the tracks and the snow. There I put more pigment down because I wanted darker, more certain shadows. And yeah, I think we got it. Okay, yeah, that was fun. We'll know how to do it better next time, and then next time after that. Love you a lot. Take care. Be good to one another. Bye-bye.